Good evening. What's another episode of Inside Sports with Rashad Mitchell, episode number 45, live on Elevation 52A Sports and Lifestyles, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Let's get into it, man. Very abbreviated show. We got the Final Fours all set up in college basketball right now. So we're going to get into what took place with the women's and the men's. We're going to start with the ladies first. That's obvious. Okay, big setup. Let's get into it, man. The women's college basketball landscape of things. We had the Final Four step up. I'm gonna start with Friday where South Carolina beat Maryland by a score of 71-67. UCLA beat Ole Miss 76-62. Duke beat North Carolina 47-38. And LSU beat NC State 80-73. Then on Saturday, you had Texas beat Tennessee 67-59. USC beat Kansas State 67-61. This is a game without Juju Watkins. He was able to hold on and beat Kansas State by a score of 67-61. Freshman Kennedy Smith stepped up and had 19 points in this game as they won that game. TCU beat Notre Dame 71-62, and UConn beat Oklahoma 82-59. Then Sunday you had the regional finals. Where South Carolina beat Duke, number one versus number two. Top seeded South Carolina beat number two Duke 54-50 to advance to the Final Four versus New. And UCLA beat LSU 72-65. So you're gonna be in the Final Four. Then Monday you had TCU lose to Texas 58-47, and UConn knocked off USC 78-64. Shows you again the services of Juju Watkins, how he absolutely played a role in her not being available. So like I said before, it was just something. You really, it's something gonna, really gonna come back and haunt them without Juju Watkins. They got blown out, got totally out class. Paige Buchers had 31 points, so 78-64. So UConn's in the Final Four. So the Final Four is all set for the women's. It'll start tomorrow. Texas, number one seed against number one seed South Carolina at 7 o'clock p.m. And then you got UConn against UCLA. So I think South Carolina's gonna win. I think UConn gonna have UConn for South Carolina for the national championship. So that's the storyline. Now let's get to the men's. It's been like a very lackluster, tournament. When you look at the men's side of things. Um, all four number one seeds are in, so there's no Cinderella. We don't have that. So last Thursday you had Florida rallying 87-71. Duke, I think, is the best team right now. 193 was the final score in that game. Alabama over BYU, 113-88. Texas Tech in overtime beat Arkansas 85-83. Then Friday, you had Auburn beat Michigan 78-65. Houston beat Purdue 62-60. Michigan State beat Ole Miss 73-70. Kentucky lost to Tennessee 78-65. And then Saturday, the regional final, Florida did a great job against Texas Tech. They overcame a big time deficit. They were down like 9 points. And Quentin Clayton Jr. was able to get it done as they brought from 9 points down. And he continued to make big time shots, including two late 3-point shots. They were down 75-66. And they made a furious comeback and tough loss for Texas Tech as they won 84-79. And then Duke beat Alabama 85-65. They're the best team right now, Duke. They should be the favorites. They did with defense. They did enough to win. And they was about march on to the Final Four, Duke and Florida. Then on Sunday, Houston beat Tennessee 69-50. It was unwatchable. Michigan State played Auburn. Auburn held off Michigan State 70-64. So they're now in the Final Four. The question is, will Janai Broome be healthy? He hurt his right arm. So see what happens. He was able to score 25 points. So we got the Final Four all set up for the men. On Saturday, we got Florida against Auburn, number 1 versus number 1. Then you got Houston versus Duke at 8:49. So I think in all said and done, I think Florida will win. I think Duke gonna win. I think Duke gonna win the whole thing. I think they're the best team. And let's get some NBA. NBA right now. The NBA is coming to a close. Got about, I think the season ends in 10 days. NBA right now. The NBA is coming to a close. So let's get into the NBA. What's going on right now? Big time performance by Steph Curry against Memphis. He had 52, 30, about 12 3-point shots. Typical, Steph Curry, man, he just knows how to get it done. Regardless of how old he is, just know how to get it done. As he won this past week, 134-125, he hit 12 3-point shots, 52 points, showing why he's one of the all-time greats. Despite his age, he's still showing that he's still capable of making it hot with those 3-point shots. Draymond Green had 13 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. Jimmy Butler had 27 points as they moved to 5th place in the Western Conference, so they could be a dangerous team. Obviously, they will miss Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson's not there, and they're still capable of doing great things. So Memphis loses 134-125. Obviously, trying to adjust life without the head coach that they was fired, which is ridiculous, and Taylor Jenkins. And he was able to lose 134-125. And Taylor Jenkins was a big time coach. I mean, he won 250 games. He was the winningest coach in Memphis history. And he still let him go. So something going on behind the scenes that people don't know about that had to lead to his unfortunate departure. Taylor Jenkins is getting fired. He won 250 games and 214 losses. Just crazy. We let God let that go. So that was a big performance by Steph Curry, 52 points for 3-point shots. Then another game that was stood out, even though they lost the game, the Nuggets 140-139 and double overtime. But how about Nikola Jokic? 61 points, by Nikola Jokic, had a triple double. Now they lost to Minnesota, 140 to 139 double overtime as Nikhil Alexander Walker hit a 2 of 3 free throws with zero point 0.1 seconds to go as it overcame a great performance by Jokic at 61 points, the most by any player this season, at 10 rebounds, 10 assists, for the third 60-point triple double in NBA history. So he did his thing in that game despite losing. So it's all about the postseason, man. When you come to the NBA, it's all about the postseason. Right now, Cleveland's clinging to a 5-game lead in the Eastern Conference at 61-15. Boston is number 2. The Knicks are number 3. Indiana is number 4. Detroit is number 5. 6 is Milwaukee. 7 seed is Orlando. Atlanta is number 8. Miami, Chicago may have a chance at that play-in. And then you got to look at out west again. Look at OKC. Can they win 70 games, man? That could be possible. Can they finish the season 70-12? They won 11 straight. They're the hottest team right now in basketball. They definitely win the number 1 seed. They 64-12, got the best record in the league. Can they win 70 games? That's the question. Houston 50-27, number 2 seed. LA is number 3. Denver is number 4. 5 is Golden State. 6 is Minnesota. 7 is Clippers. Memphis is 8. Dallas is 9th. Sacramento is 10. Let's look at the NBA. Next, what else to talk about before we close out? Next, what else to talk about? Okay, we got the baseball. Got the baseball. I'll talk about some baseball. Then get to Honest Days sports history for April 3rd, and then get into Georgetown, Villanova 40 years ago this past week, on April 1st, 1985. That's when Villanova upset Georgetown by a score of 66. I think it was 66, 64, something like that. Look back at that. Let's look at some baseball news. Look at the standings. Look at the scores first and foremost. The Yankees, they win 9-3 in the top of 6, 2 outs. Brewers beating the Reds 1-0, top of 6 finals. You got the Red Sox over the Orioles 8-4. Phillies over the Rockies 3-1. Astros 5-2 over the Twins. Look at the standings. Toronto's 5-2. The American League East, Tampa Bay is 4-2. Yankees 3-2. Boston's 3-4. Baltimore is 3-4. The Central Division, very mediocre. Kansas City is 2-4. Detroit is 2-4. 2-4. Cleveland 2-4. White Sox, Minnesota Twins are 2-5. In the West, Texas 5-2. The Angels are 4-2. Houston is 3-4. Seattle's 3-4. Oakland Athletics. The Athletics. I don't know if they have. I don't think they play in Oakland. Do they? I think they relocated. The Athletics. I think it's just the Athletics. Anyway, the Athletics were 2-5. National League, Philadelphia is 5-1. Miami's 4-3. Mets are 3-3. Washington's 1-5. 0-7 is Atlanta Braves. In Central National League, St. Louis is 4-2. The Cubs are 5-4. Cincinnati's 2-4. Milwaukee's 2-4. Pittsburgh's 2-4. We got 2 undefeated teams still left in baseball. The Dodgers, no surprise there, they're 8-0. The Padres are 7-0. And San Francisco's 5-1. And Arizona's 4-2. And Colorado's 1-5. All right, so let's get into Honest Day in sports history. April 3rd, before we close out. April 3rd. I'm not going to go over everything. Let's go over some things. We're going to start with 1923 on April 3rd. 2 Black Sox sue White Sox unsuccessfully for black salary. In 1955 on April 3rd, Baltimore Orioles pulled their first triple play, 3-6-2 against the Kansas City Athletics. 1966, April 3rd, Tom Seaver signed the Mets for a reported $50,000 bonus. '97 April 3rd, Chicago Cubs traded this actually to the Oakland A's for three minor league players. Mario Lemieux in 1988 won NHL scoring title, stopping Gretzky's 7-year streak. Mario Lemieux. Bo Jackson in 1991 signed a contract with the Chicago White Sox. 1992 first exhibition game at Camden Field. The Orioles of Baltimore beat the New York Mets. North Carolina beats Louisiana Tech 60-59, April 3rd, 1994, as the Tigers won their first NCAA title. A three-point shot by Charlotte Smith as time expires. 1994, April 3rd, first field roster of Silver Bullets was announced, an all-female professional baseball team. That's it. That's some of the moments that happened. No, April 3rd. Excuse me, April 3rd. Some of the things that happened on April 3rd was the sports history aspect of April 3rd, the events. Right. Let's get into Georgetown, Villanova. This past week marked the 40th anniversary of Georgetown versus Villanova. Very important matchup in college basketball history because Georgetown was the big time basketball team that year in 1985. And that was a classic game. A great upset, 664 was the final score. And a great upset because the Wildcats was the 8th seeded team, and Georgetown Horse was defending champions led by Patrick Ewing, John Thompson. And it was a perfect game. It was known as a perfect game. Why is that? Because the Villanova Wildcats shot 78.6% from the field, and including 90% in the second half. And also, the 1985 NCAA tournament was the first with a 64 team bracket. Villanova at the time made them the lowest seeded team to ever win a national championship. So this game was definitely an epic battle at that time. We talk about Georgetown versus Villanova. It was a very classic game. Ed Pickney was on that team for Villanova. Harold Presley. It was just definitely a classic game. And on this day, on April the 1st, a few days ago, this game was played. And that was a great, great game on April 1st, 1985. Derek Dwayne McClain, Gary McClain, Harold Presley, Harold Jensen, Ed Pickney, Willie Massimino was the coach. And he was able to beat Georgetown, man. Georgetown was that big time team, all time great team. They were the Hoya Paranoias, team that you love to hate. Their rough style, they were roughnecks in how they played the game. So they were very physical. And they was able to get upset by Villanova, one of the stunning upsets ever, 1985. So I want to talk about that because that was a big time team that lost that championship game led by Patrick Ewing, especially him. That was a big time team, Georgetown. Definitely. But unfortunately, they couldn't repeat. They had a big time team, not just Ewing, but they had Michael Jackson at point guard. They had Reggie Williams, Dennis Wingate, Bill Martin. Reggie Williams, Patrick Ewing, Bill Martin, David Wingate, Michael Jackson was on the team. They still got beat. The game was played in Rupp Arena in Kentucky. Classic game at its highest level. That's it, man. That's it for the night. The time is up. Thanks for those who tune in on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter for Inside Sports with Rashad. Make sure to be back next week for episode number 46. Check out my latest article on E52ASports.com. Check it out. If you like the article, check it out. It's up there. E52ASports.com. The latest article that I've written, sports article. Check it out when you get a chance. Right, so that's it for the night, man. I'll be back for episode number 46. Live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Until then, have a good night.